there's like 5 security guards and 2 armed police officers standing at our booth. We decided to scrap that. That's not gonna be in the game. The most unexpected and most insane thing that happened was that Hi guys, this is Niels here from KeyQuest Studio, and I thought today I would do something new, which was give you guys a little bit of a look behind the scenes of what's been going on, and I want to update you guys on the game, of course, how it's going, what our plans are, what came out with this update that we just did. We are just trying to involve you guys as much as possible, basically. Let's talk a little bit about what happened these past few weeks. A few weeks ago, we went to Copenhagen Gaming Week with DarkBazaar, and that went way better than expected. It was an incredible experience. We learned so much about the game from just watching so many people play it for 3 days, and it actually changed our plans a lot for the game. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Before Copenhagen Gaming Week, we launched the playtest on Steam, and within a few days 500 people joined the playtest, and we had just not expected that. And honestly, we didn't feel like the build that we had put out was the best. It was actually the first time that we made an update on the game where we actually felt like the experience was a little less fun than the previous build. We had kind of changed some balancing things, and that's why we wanted to wait another week to do another update to hopefully make it better and more fun. But lo and behold, hundreds of people poured into the playtest, and they seem to enjoy it, and a lot of you guys come from that playtest, so we're so happy that people thought it was fun at that point, and fun enough that they wanted to stay and wishlist the game and join the Discord and participate in giving feedback and feature suggestions and bug reports. And that's really awesome to us. It's just, you know, a few days ago we did a stream of the new update that came this week with some people in the Discord just chatting and streaming the game and talking about the update and future things that we could do with the game. And there were so many good ideas. Christian and I talked about how awesome a feeling that was to just sit and chat with people who were engaged in the game, and they had so many thoughts about the game and what it could be and ideas for it. And it's just very cool to us that you guys actually engage with it. So I just wanted to say that. I can't say that enough. It's so fun for us to do it in this way, where we get this feedback from you guys. So please keep doing it and keep breaking the game. That's also awesome that some of you guys are just really trying to break the game in every kind of possible way and finding exploits. Just after that experience with the playtest, we went to Copenhagen Gaming Week. That was also an insane experience. So many people came and played the game. Most of them thought it was really fun, and some of them stayed just like for hours just playing the game, playing and came back. Some people came back all 3 days of the showcase and played the game every day. We learned a lot from watching people play the game. What we learned was that, first of all, onboarding in the game is horrible. Like, I'm so impressed that a lot of you guys managed to get through the beginning of the game and get to the actual good parts and, you know, understand the game and really play it. That was one of the big learnings that we saw, that we had to really help people in the beginning, or else they would not reach like the good parts of the game. If we helped them get through the first like level and told them what to do, then from there on they kind of understood and they could play, and they could just keep playing for hours, because as soon as they understood like the strategy and how to play the game, they just got hooked and they were just playing for hours. So that's why we added the user manual to the game, and we added the pop-up ads that will make you aware of upgrades and like prompt you to like buy some upgrades with your diamonds, because it's a pretty good idea. It's pretty difficult to play the game without that. So so we added that into the game, and then we removed the access fee on the boxes. So before we would have this one-time fee that you would pay to unlock a box. And what we saw out there was that was very confusing to people. No one understood that they didn't buy the box by paying the access fee. For now, we have just completely removed the access fees to the boxes, so you can just see all the prices, you can just buy them, you don't have to pay the one-time fee. And for now, that works a lot better. It's a lot easier to understand for new players coming in. And we're gonna add another way of like unlocking boxes in the future, which is going to be more like gameplay based. So you do certain things to unlock a certain box, and we think that's going to be more fun. We also learned a lot about what the core of the game is and what's fun and what we should focus on. So if you have been following the game and you have been part of the Discord, you might have seen some discussion around features that we wanted to introduce, like weapon modification and attachments. So we were actually talking about having like a full workbench section of the game where you could like modify your weapons, put on like silencers and scopes and all kinds of attachments to increase the value of the weapons. We decided to scrap that completely after Copenhagen Gaming Week, because we just saw that's not what people play this game for. It's the gambling elements of like taking risks and getting rewards and making strategic decisions about what risks you're taking and how you're managing your risk. And so it's more about this opening these boxes and what weapons you can get, and getting more rare weapons that are worth a lot, and like taking risky contracts that you're then trying to be lucky to be able to fulfill, and manipulating your luck with the upgrades and stuff. We are gonna do something with like weapon modification, but it's gonna be like modifiers attached to a weapon. So you can roll a weapon. Let's say you roll an AK-47, but now you rolled an AK-47 that has a modifier on it. This weapon behaves a little bit differently than other AK-47s, and there will be like a chance that the weapon can roll with this modifier on it. Kind of like the modifiers in Bilateral, for example. You can have stone cards and steel cards and glass cards and stuff like that. Kind of a similar concept. That will be in the game. Another thing that we decided to scrap was the world map. We were talking about having this world map where you would like find buyers, and we were having this whole like elaborate plan of different countries and regions and how that would play into what weapons you would get and what contracts you would get. And we decided to also simplify that a lot and say, okay, the players should have more agency over contracts. But there are many ways to do that, and right for now we have done it with some of the upgrades that you can get when you clear a debt. You can choose that some types of contracts will appear more often or less often, so that gives you a bit of agency in terms of what contracts will appear. And later we're gonna add something like a reroll on the contracts. You can spend diamonds, for example, to reroll the list of contracts. And also I imagine that we're gonna have something like upgrades that will manipulate the contracts in different ways. The reason that we're scrapping these features is to put more focus into that core of like rolling weapons and interesting weapons. So we want to do many more like weapons and variations of weapons, and having like very rare variations of different weapons. And then we want to do like a weapons collection. So you're collecting weapons in this collection that you have. And that's kind of a form of progression that you have in the game, that you're collecting all of these weapons. And when you see a new weapon that you haven't seen before, it's added to your collection, and you can go into your collection and read more about the weapon. And right now we're talking about also having the weapons give you some sort of bonus. Then the most unexpected and most insane thing that happened was that we won a prize, and we had to go on stage and receive the prize in front of an audience at this award show. And that was insane. We really did not expect it. We talked about it beforehand, before going to the event, that there was this award that would be given to one of the games in the showcase, and that technically, you know, we had a chance of winning it. But I told the team directly, we are not gonna win this award, but we have to also go to this award show, because there is like a tiny chance that we might win this award. Even though we were not gonna win it, we should probably show up to the award show. So that was the sentiment that we went in there with, was like, of course we're not gonna win this prize. There are like 36 games in the showcase. Some of them are insane. Some of them are like Dino Lords and Dark Swarm, and a game like Flask, which is a really cool game as well. Scratch the Cat. And there are just so many cool games in this showcase that we were like, no way we're winning that prize. And then we fucking won the prize. and I just didn't know what to say. So I was really surprised when we went on stage. We went on stage 2 times. There was a reveal of who won the prize earlier in the afternoon, where we went on stage, and that was like the first time I heard it, was like 5 seconds before I went on that stage, and I did not expect winning the prize. And so I went up there and was like, but why? Why would you give us this prize? Because I just didn't think that we had a chance compared to these other games. So I think in that acceptance speech, I was just very like, why? And then later in the evening at the big award show, where we also had to go on stage and accept the award, I've had some time to think before. So I kind of gave a little speech. And we've been grinding for a little over 2 years now, me and Christian and Rasmus as well. And so it's just amazing. We were here last year at the Game Awards for the first time, and we were sitting up there watching people come up and get awards, and thought that would be pretty cool to do someday. And so it's really amazing to stand up here, and I'm just so thankful to the jury and all of the people who voted, to our investors who believed in us. It's been tough at times, I think. So, and thank you so much to the team as well. We heard that a lot of the motivation for the award was the whole atmosphere, and it's Christian over here and Rasmus who does the sound and the visuals, so I think a lot of it is on them. So yeah, thank you so much. And,
let's give another big hand.
Really awesome experience, and yeah, I'll never forget that. It was just really cool. And then afterwards, of course, everyone came and congratulated us, and like the press came and interviewed us about this, and everyone was like so congratulating. Another fun story from Copenhagen Gaming Week I just want to end the video with is you know, we had thought a lot about how we could stand out in the showcase. We had this like booth, a very open booth, which was nice, because then people could like just jump in and play the game, or come and look at the game. We did a few things that we got a lot of praise for. So one of them was we made these floppy disks, which are real second-hand used floppy disks that I bought off like a second-hand market place that we have here in Denmark. And so we scraped off all of the old labels, and we put on our own labels with a QR code that you can scan to find the game on Steam. So it was like a lot of these kinds of labels that we had to like scrape off. So that was one thing that we had like standing in the booth. And then we had a lot of guns in the booth. And those were like airsoft guns that I had borrowed from an old friend. And then we had this like weapons crate that we had bought, this real authentic old like Second World War weapons crate. And we were a little bit concerned about what security would say to those airsoft weapons, because you know they look like real weapons, and there's gonna be a lot of people in the, like, I don't know what the venue where the showcase was. And so we were a little bit worried about that, but we decided to not ask for permission, to just like go there with the weapons, because we thought it's gonna be way too easy for them to say no to us if we ask. So we're just gonna go there with the weapons. And so we did, and the day we went in the day before the showcase started to set up the booth. And on that day there was like 2 security guards standing in the door where everyone was like carrying in the things for their booths and setting up. And so we were kind of like, oh, what are they gonna say when we come like with a lot of rifles and pistols and stuff like that? And to our big surprise, they said nothing. Absolutely nothing. We were just like carrying in weapons from the car into the venue, but they said nothing. And so we were kind of like, okay. Then the first day of the showcase, when we get there to the venue 1 hour before they open, when we get to our booth, there's like 5 security guards standing at our booth and 2 armed police officers. And we are like, okay, what's going on? So when we came over, they were like, is this your weapons? And we were like, yes. And they were like, do you have permission to have these weapons in here? And we were like, no, we don't. And so they were like, okay, well, we have to check all of them and see that they're not real. And then the agreement became that they would just lock the weapons. So we had this wire that we had to put through all of the weapons and around the like weapons crate, so you couldn't like pick up the weapons, which proved to be a really good idea, because I cannot count how many kids were over and trying to pick up these weapons, and it could have gone really wrong. Like, I could really see a scenario where some kids just ran off with, you know, an AK or something, and a panic would ensue and the whole place would have to be shut down. I'm really happy that security came by and locked them up. We had not thought that through at all. You know, we're game developers, you know, we sit at home with our computers. We don't think about like security at an event and like what could happen. But like afterwards, I was like, whoa, that could have gone really wrong if they weren't locked up. But everyone actually behaved really nicely, also all of the kids, and nothing was stolen from our booth, even though we had like loose magazines, and we had these like bullet casings as well that was like placed on the table where people would play. None of that got stolen. We got everything home with us, and I was actually a bit surprised and impressed by that. So that was a really good experience. But that's it for now. If you enjoy these kinds of updates, video updates, I would love to do more of them. So please let me know in the Discord or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. And then we'll probably do more of them if you guys enjoy them. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the bazaar.